the energy in this nation is of humility. Like when you win, kuwa humble. Hello, nimekuja na tangazo. Miles, oh my God, Limes. That guy has a personality, like even as a musician, I cannot. Our athletes will always be humble people living well in Kerio Valley. If you don't show a young kid the success of Omanyala, having a mansion, interacting with people, showing opulence, living, people will not exalt sports. I want to show you off. Now I finished. Savara song or major song or any song about winning is celebrated by people all across the world. For example, people win the World Cup. So music and sports have a very important role to play because they have a super emotional connection and they evoke loyalty. And that's why music and sports have to work together. Other nations have been able to do this. For example, United States of America. But when it comes to countries like developing countries, Kenya, we haven't been able to connect the two because they run parallel. They don't do symbiotic kind of interactions. These situations must be created to be able to expand this kind of creative economy in sports. Those two must work hand in hand. We try. I've seen some events like, for example, the rally. The rally they have music. Rugby have music. But for example, football didn't have music per se. I was the first one, and I did it pro bono just to show that this can happen because halftime shows happen all over the world. Why can't halftime shows happen here? And yet, the crowds are singing along to music that's been created by musicians. So those two things have to come together. The reason why I did it even pro bono was when I put it in sports rather. So not to digress, but just to hit the point. In sports, we haven't been able to create lifestyle brands. The storytelling, in creating a product, there has to be a good storytelling. I had to do storytelling by doing that national anthem pro bono for people to see. And when people saw, everyone now wants to do a halftime show. There's been interest from all parties. So there had to be a guinea pig, and I had to do it. And that storytelling is what evokes emotion. Apart from when Omanyala is running 100 meter and winning, that's so momentarily. And apart from that situation, I don't have a reason to celebrate Omanyala. I'm not given. So the storytelling around Omanyala has to be commercialized. That's why you have people like Marek in the audience who works in the creative economy and tries to commercialize it. So we need to storytell about our athletes. I don't know anything about a footballer, famous footballers. All I know is their stories about how they failed, Dennis Olech. I don't know about his triumph. I don't know about his lifestyle. The reason why you've bought into Soul Generation is because we showed you the lifestyle of these people. So we made sure you have an emotional connection to these people. So with sports, I would really urge, I want to see how the hockey team celebrates behind the scenes. And that content shouldn't be behind the scenes content. It should be content that has to be commercialized, put on TV, put on, like, sold on, you know? So the interaction between sports and music has to happen in a way that we need to understand what's happening in sports. The reason why one of the reasons why I didn't do sports per se is because this sports wasn't glorified. Yeah, it wasn't glorified. Guys, we need to develop products that are commercialized, away from only someone who's thinking of, okay, I win the Grand Prix, I get I don't know how many millions and life in Asia. And then also that breeds the how can I call that energy? Yeah, I call it misplaced humility. We have approached sports in a way that when you win, it's okay to just thump, you know? It's okay to celebrate, and it's okay to say, I'm the best in the world. And nobody can do anything about that. It's okay. But the energy in this nation is of humility. Like when you win, kuwa humble. Yes. And that energy suppresses celebration, suppresses brands coming out of sports. We don't have a sports personality here who's, how can I say, who talks a lot, you know, who engages people, who can say nonsense, and who can say things that can spark conversation. Most of our sportsmen are like, you know, you have to win, bro. You know. How do you create a personality out of that? Look at the 100 meter, the 100 meter. There's this 100 meter guy from the States. Miles, oh my God, Liles. That guy has a personality, like even as a musician, I cannot. And you can see why brands associate with him. But here, someone has won the biggest race in the country, but our energy tells him, where to live? Be humble, relax, don't celebrate your win. And then the whole nation becomes like, yo, oh, you know, let's just speak slow, let's speak on a low voice, you know, you cannot shout, you know. No. So it's the energy. So I'm telling you guys, if you don't change that attitude and energy, our athletes will always be humble people living well in Kerio Valley. But yes, but you cannot, it's the truth, guys. People buy into opulence. Let's not lie to ourselves here. People buy into success and opulence. But if you don't show a young kid the success of Omanyala having a mansion, interacting with people, showing opulence, living, people will not exalt sports. So let's make sports have an entertainment value by doing that.
Thank you.
Hello, nimekuja na tangazo. Muoneni kwa macho. Ameifunga milango ya roho yangu mama. Girl, I wanna show you up, show you up, show you up. Now I finish kumalo. I wanna show you up, show you up, show you up. Now I finish kumalo. Thank you guys.